If you look at now compared to 50 years ago, the agency is massive. The needs of the staff have changed, but the needs of the inmate population has changed too. The facilities expanded quicker than the rehabilitative opportunities that we have. The best example, you got someone that got locked up out of the valley, and for some reason, our old way, we're looking at the next facility. They get locked up in Dalhart, Texas. They're 1,000 miles away from their family, and you never get to see them. You slowly become disconnected from the outside world, and then you start getting sucked into the penitentiary world, and you lose sight of what you're working towards to go home. Having that family and that support system closer so they can more easily be in contact with you and give you that motivation to go home. And then their program, they get an FI-6 vote, that program is in East Texas. So now they've got to go out to East Texas to do their program. And then once they get done with their program so they can go home, they're coming back down to the valley. Well, doing regionalization, all 6 regions are connected, but at the same time, they all can operate independent of each other. They all have the rehabilitative needs, the security needs, anything that we can think of, it would all be within that region so we can limit how much we have to move in it. What would be in a perfect world, maybe a 6 or 7 day trip could be a 1-day trip. And what could potentially be going through 3 or 4 or 5 different units to get there, you're going from one unit to the unit you need to go to. You're saving time, you're saving money, you're saving heartache, you're saving the potential for something to go wrong between here and there. And you're saving a lot of stress on the inmates. So you're taking a lot of stress off them and a lot of stress off the staff.
It's rough, man. It goes to show you how big Texas is too. And it shows you how they transport an inmate from one facility all the way to another. Because, just because you're in a facility, that doesn't mean you're staying there, right? And you might get a program that's in a whole different part of Texas, like you said, to the east of Texas. Now, you start to get into that prison system and away from your family, right? Now, when you can't see family, and these are things that are most definitely not possibly, are most definitely in Karmelo Anthony's future. We've seen that when he did get to one facility, he was moved automatically to Wallace Pack unit. He was locked up in the county where he was, and he was moved automatically to Wallace Pack units. We heard some allegations and some speculation saying that the Metcalf family had an uncle that was a warden and all types of things. I can't confirm that. So I just don't like to tell you things that I can't confirm, but I do know that's what we did here around that time. Yeah, man, it's a crazy journey that he has to go through, and at least 17 years and a half before anything really, as far as appeals go, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, maybe 3 years at minimum, but it's going to be a years-long process towards the appeals and towards that 17 and a half years, Crazy, man. I played part of this video, and this video is from February 7th of this year, 2026. So, even though this facility itself has had issues over the years, we've seen that they had to win a judgment for them to even put air conditioning and cooling systems into the prison. So imagine what those inmates were going through at that time. But I do want to play the rest of this 2-minute video just to show you some of the conditions. This is recently. This is February 2026, a couple of months ago. Okay, so let's just finish up with this one and just see what this inmate is talking about.
Unsanitary. So the bottom line is the action needs to be swift. It's already day 5, and essentially it's not hard to realize what the needs are. They have to have somewhere to go to the bathroom. Porta potties in the yard are the solution for the inmates. That's not a difficult solution. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Rationing of water. If people aren't getting their water to drink, then it needs to be closely monitored by the staff inside that everybody is, in fact, receiving the rations they need to survive.
This is just a little bit more on the conditions. This is from April. Actually, this post is from April of 2026. All right. And this is a news post. And they're talking about some of the conditions in Wallace Pack Unit and some of the things that Karmelo could be facing as we speak. Who's to say that the conditions are much better? It's prison. It's not your house. It's not your living room. It's prison. And if you never knew where hell was on earth, when you go to prison, that's where you'll find hell. Straight up. The conditions are crazy. No one really cares about you like that. And this is just what it is. So imagine the people that don't have family that's sticking by them, visiting them and sending you stuff like that, especially if they move you so far that it make it difficult for your family members to see you. Some people got elderly parents or people that's elderly that cannot make those long journeys to even visit you. It's very, very hard in these places. All right, let's get back to
Now to an important trial that could cost the state of Texas millions of dollars, and some argue it will save lives. Several groups are suing the state over a lack of air conditioning in state prisons. They say that the lack of AC is unconstitutional and led to the deaths of 5 inmates in the past 2 years. Officials with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, which runs the prison system, question the cause of death in each case. State leaders say that they've also added 50,000 so-called cool beds for inmates. They project that installing AC would cost $1 billion, and they say it's money that department does not have. Texas lawmakers failed to pass a bill to install air conditioning in the last legislative session.
Well, you know, just because he was in isolation in county jail doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be in isolation in TDCJ. He's gonna undergo the intake process just like everybody else. They'll go through his family history, sociology, mental health, physical health, all that stuff. Of course, they've seen the TDCJ photos. Hair or not, everybody gets a shave, and your first picture is completely hairless. And you know, within 6 months, they'll have a second photo on the back of his ID card to show what he looks like with hair and without hair. And that was brought about several years back, you know, just in case there's an escape, because people's identities and looks have changed over the years. But normally you'll go to the Bird unit for intake processing. You know, once you're done with your intake processing, they'll send you to what they call a transfer facility, which, you know, in that area up there, it's normally the holiday unit. And the transfer facilities is a holdover facility where you've already gone through the intake process. Now they're looking at your educational needs, physical needs, counseling needs, and stuff like that. And that's where they determine where they're going to send you from there onto your permanent unit of assignment. Now for him, because they took him from the county so quickly, with him being at the PAC unit, and I don't understand why they're considering that a medium security facility. I tried to look to see what his custody actually was, and the different news outlets are reporting different things. Some are saying he's a G3 custody. Some are saying he's a P5 or P7 safekeeping custody. You know, the unit that he's at is a G1 through G3, which is basically outside trustees, and G2 and G3s are considered minimum ins and minimum out, depending on the length of sentence. G3 custody is normally your people who are serving 50 years and more. And G2 is the ones that are serving, you know, less than that, or have a certain percentage of time done on that 50 years and more. So, you know, for him, he's in a dorm environment. He's probably right now being kept in a transit part with other transits. I don't think he's going to be in total isolation. Like I said, you know, TDCJ is full of people who have committed murders, heinous crimes, things of that nature. I just think that they decided to go ahead and get him somewhere to let the media attention die down and let this kid wind down a little bit and start wrapping his head around doing his time.
It's real, bro. You see that. He's a G3, maybe a G3 inmate. He's around people doing 50 years. Or people that have done majority of that time of 50 years. You're in a dorm setting, so it's not like in a cell setting. You know, you got to keep one eye open. You're already, as allegedly, Karmelo's already said that he's been actually harassed already. He's already made a complaint that he's being actually harassed. We don't know the color of the person that's actually harassing him or that actually harassed him, but that already happened. He's in this dorm setting. And he's saying, look, he's not even going to be isolated right now that he thinks, because he's a former officer that worked in the building. You know what I'm saying? So he's saying that he don't think he'll be isolated. You know how like you get PC and you kind of isolated with certain kind of inmates and certain things like that. No, he said basically he's going to be in gen pop. He's going to be in general population, and he's with those people that are unalivers, like how he unalived somebody, and people that have done tragic and heinous crimes. Okay, people that are real serious individuals. He's in there with some wolves in there right now, and you could hear it from him himself, man. It's crazy, man.
From that point, and with him, I don't think, even if he isn't in an isolation status, and you'll see by the picture I just sent, the picture of this facility. I don't know if we can blow it up any. This is basically a sheet metal. This is basically a sheet metal facility, not a dangerous place. It's not a hardcore facility. It's not max. It's not, it's none of that. And, I think sending him there was probably a good thing to do, because it's a good facility to get your feet wet, because you got a lot of older convicts there, true convicts. And, you don't have a big problem on that facility with gang issues. You don't have a big problem on that facility with contraband drugs coming in. You don't see this facility in the news like you do some of the others with all the K2 deaths and all of that stuff. So sending him to that facility was probably a damn good choice.